Yeah, it seems to me that when the volume is off, the one thing that you can never find and get back is the volume. Although, holy moly, does the back of my hair look horrible. I said I took a shower last night, which is nice. I like that, taking a shower. But I also read a lot of letters and a lot of stories. But I also tended the fire and stuff, so you didn't really miss anything. And so we're just going to roll right into it and forget about all the, other extras that were there in the original video, in the first video, which we're just going to, basically, actually, I'm going to turn that off, that video. Excuse me. I don't understand why I always have the burpees. There we go. Okay. Let me just make sure I didn't, unless, yeah, I did. Okay, no, I'm fine. All right, so I did show you, there we are, we're on live. All right. Hello, classroom engagement. It's a sloppy writing that I've done, but so I got to show you our little chalkboard again. I've been done the classroom engagement. We are in day 83, class. Aren't you excited? I am. More excited about this beautiful chalkboard and my colored chalk. And my stand that I got a long time ago, I got that actually for my husband's funeral, actually, so I could hold some pictures and some things up, whatever, post, whatever. And of course, this was the only size stand that they can get me. They were all conspiring against me, even at his funeral service, life, whatever, celebration of life. So anyway, I love that. All right, I dropped this over here. And this is from our highlights. If you remember, I decided to pick up our highlights. That was the one that we did the flowers from, right? So you probably saw that there already. The one we did the flowers from. Okay, so we've got our dear highlights. So that's what I decided to do as a little special treat. So do a couple from the magazine, and then we'll go into the book. And I forgot the second one from the magazine anyway. I love this one. I love it. I forgot to feed our chickens. Now my dad won't let me play with them. I gave his dad so many compliments. I hope I remember to give him as many compliments as I did with the volume off. Your dad is trying to teach you how important it is to take care of the chickens. Pets and farm animals depend on their owners to feed them. They can't get food for themselves. It may help to talk this over with your dad. But first, think of ways you can be more responsible. For example, you might make a chore chart that lists everything you need to do. Tackling your chores without being reminded is a great way to show that you are becoming more mature. Apologize to your dad and tell him you want to do better. He might not let you play with the chickens right away, but when he sees you becoming more responsible, he may change his mind. Okay, so what I said when the volume is off, and I'm going to keep referring to that until I get to new stuff, whatever. It's just not going to mean anything to you, but the volume is off and I just recorded. Okay. Excellent, Amy Dickinson again. And what I would say that I liked about this was that giving this person, which is Aaron, sent by email, Aaron sent this, which is giving Aaron the ideas for showing your dad how you could be more responsible. That was very nice, Amy, to give Aaron some ideas. Aaron, what I want to say to you or to anyone who's listening about this is so your dad seems like a very reasonable person. And the reason why I say this is because he gave you, he reasonably took away a privilege. He didn't what's the word I'm looking for? Overreact. Your dad didn't overreact. The crime of forgetting to feed the chickens fit the punishment that he wouldn't let you play with them. And he's trying to teach you a lesson. So it seems to me that because the crime fit the punishment and your dad didn't overreact, that your dad is a very reasonable man. That being said, if you do apologize and do something to show that you are more mature and willing to take responsibility, I believe your dad, being what appears to be a reasonable man, would likely respond in a reasonable way and give you the privileges back. But this is what I think is most important about this, and that is the suggestion that Amy gave, which is a chore chart, to make a chore chart. In all of my years that I've been on the planet and with kids and raising kids and, knowing other people's kids and all that, I've never seen any kid voluntarily on their own make a chore chart that would also have days of the week that you're going to do it and times that you would do it, right? Including things, and that would include things like homework, for example. Of course it would. I've never seen a kid on their own make a chore chart. And your dad, being a very reasonable man, it seems to me, this is what I did, that I would be astounded by his child taking the initiative to make a chore chart. And then I did this in the, I was like, my son, one of my sons had ever come to me with a chore chart, I would have just been like, and then I would have woken up after I fainted, and then I would have fainted again. Because there's no way I would have ever. I made chore charts, and then they didn't even take the initiative to copy me with chore charts, right? Which may have something to do with their dislike of chore charts. Okay. I looked at this question. I didn't care about this question. Then I looked at this question, which isn't a question. And so that bothered me, Krista from California, is that you're not asking highlights a question. And you need to be asking them a question. And Amy was nice enough to say something, so I'm going to read it and then I'll respond. My brother Caleb uses 2 knives to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but I use only 1. Next. Now we are on. You didn't even ask a question. Why would I bother answering something that you didn't ask? Ask a question. Don't assume. Don't be so lazy as to assume that highlights is supposed to guess what you want. These are letters from friendship, right? So, new letters from Dear Highlights, letters about friendship. And I said I would read the bold print. Every child needs and wants friends. Friends enrich our lives with fun, laughter, and camaraderie. The mail we receive tells us that highs and lows of childhood friendship have changed very little. And that's what they've been telling us, right? That these things have changed very little. It's the reason why we could read a letter from 1998 and another one from 2013 and have it sound similar. Or answer it similarly. We hope our friendship conversations with kids will lead them to think more deeply about what it means to be and have a true friend. Okay, the letters. Dear Highlights, my friend Veronica wants to be my best friend, but I already have one. What shall I do? I love that proper English. What shall I do? Maria, 1987. Dear Highlights, I have a lot of friends at school, but no best friend. What can I do? Sarah, 2002. Very interesting, right? Dear Sarah, she doesn't answer Veronica here, but she answers Sarah, okay? I'm going to get this just a little bit closer. There is no rule that says you have to have only one best friend. Each friend is special in a certain way. Perhaps one is a good listener and is always there for you. Other friends may make you laugh or help you with schoolwork, and one might enjoy the same types of movies or books. So in a way, each friend can be your best friend. And I have to say, I really did like that answer that Amy gave. I might not have thought about that. I probably would have, but not right away. I wouldn't have thought of that right away. I certainly did not think about that right away. Tell me how that thing can't be burning. How is it? I had a whole package of sticks and debris and put it in there after that had been burning and gone. Those logs just aren't burning, and I cannot explain it except for the fact that I should have got lighter fluid and I forgot lighter fluid. So after this, I'm going to go run to the store and get some lighter fluid. Be there in a minute, Ace. So I liked her answer about that. And I said what I said before was that have I always had a best friend? Yes, I've always had a best friend. And so I was thinking, who's my best friend right now? And my best friend right now, because I was thinking about it more. Now I'm just telling you what I said on the one where I didn't have volume on it, okay? And that's my husband. And my husband, yeah, today he is still my best friend. He is still my best friend. He's passed, but I feel his spirit protecting me and guiding me, and that makes me wonder, makes me think, I don't know, all kinds of things, all kinds of mysterious things. Watch my mystery series and you'll know what I'm thinking about it. Okay. So I've always had a best friend, and I said on there too, and I used to have a best friend who I had through all of high school and my whole life until recently, and then I excommunicated her from our friendship. Yeah, I'm no longer her friend, and that's because I think that she's not only involved with somebody who's big ag and promotes, basically big ag promotes poor nutrition, poor food, poor growing practices, but beyond that, I have said they're sex trafficking, and they have their pick of, beautiful, bronze skinned Mexican migrant workers, so whatever. So that might not have been best advice for me. You can have lots of best friends. I'm a person who likes a best friend. I'm a person but I've always had one, and it's not like I thought, oh, I want a best friend who should be my best friend. I've just always had one. Now my best friend that I grew up with, that I excommunicated as best friend, she never treated me like a best friend either, right? She had somebody else be her maid of honor at both of her weddings. So, she never treated me like her best friend. So I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with excommunicating her. She was never really a very good friend. But I will say I did always consider her my best friend. I did. There were other women that I could have considered my best friend, but it didn't seem like they liked me that much. Kelly Hoy was one of them, but Kelly Hoy was also another one who was also trying to sex traffic me. In fact, I do believe that she ended up in jail because of it. But I can't be sure. People change their names to protect the guilty. I'm out here getting my name slaughtered, and I'm the innocent. Like a little lamb. Who does that remind you of? Jesus Cristo, does it? My friend Veronica wants to be my best friend, but I already have one. What shall I do? Okay, that to me has been it wasn't for me a problem, but I knew it was a problem for a lot of other people. That seemed to me to be a bigger problem when I was going to school, or even for my children, right? Or being in the classroom a lot when my kids were young. That's what I heard to be the problem, was that this person wants to, there was a girl whose name, I won't give her last name, but her name was Tori. And she was very popular, and there was a reason for her to be very popular. So a popular girl like that, I don't mean just girl as opposed to boy, but girl, because boys are probably less interested in best friends, right? And that kind of nurturing relationships. A popular girl, she did have the problem of people wanting to be her best friend. So that's such a compliment, Maria. It's such a compliment. It's that people do like you. And so what I would make sure that I would do is I would make sure that I was in my grown-up words, I would make sure that I was always a person of integrity. And so in grown-up words. And so that just means, to me, it means say what you mean and mean what you say in the nicest possible way. Be a nice person. Be a nice person, and people will want to be your best friend. And if the worst problem you ever have is that people want to be your best friend, then you know what? You're really doing something right, Maria from 1987. You were really doing something right. And you know what I bet, Maria? I bet today in 2023, you still have people who want to be your best friends. That's what I think. Okay, let's see. The next one in our friendship. I am freezing. Usually I work between that space, the heater, and this space. And this doggone space is just not doing anything, as you can see. So I do want to beef this up just for a minute, which we did see on our live earlier one with no volume. So let's try and get a new... Let's see if I got, oh, no, I do not have it. But when I did these, look how I used to do these half-sheet little quizzes. 3 questions. That was a really good idea. Except for the fact that I always had to make my own copies because everyone needed, in the office where they weren't doing anything at all, just sitting on their thumbs. Really, you could walk in there anytime and they weren't doing anything. It takes you 10 seconds to do these, right? 10 seconds to do those. But they wouldn't do them without a week's advance notice. So the majority of the time, now these actually I didn't do, and I want to know why I know I didn't do them? Because they're not on colored paper, that's why. I would request thank you for your patience during this time where we are feeding the fire. Okay. You'll see a nice blaze start behind me and then die out in mere seconds. I do have a bunch of planks of floorboard in the garage. I'm going to end up burning up our floorboards now. Not really, though. Okay. Sorry for that. Let's read another one. Dear editor, I have a problem. There is only one girl on our street my age. She always is on vacation, so when she's not home, I have nobody to play with. All the other kids on my street are brats. Can you help me? Stacy, age 9, 1976. Dear Highlights, I have a really bratty friend, or that's what my mom calls her. I agree with my mom. This friend has really good, nice times, but when she wants her way, I have to go back to my house. My parents are no help. My friend doesn't let me touch her things, but she touches all over my things. She is the only kid my age in the neighborhood. The other girls are even worse. I really need help. Alyssa, 2015. Let's see what Amy has to say, because I know here, I'm just going to put my 2 cents in for a minute. Girls can be brats. You got that right. Okay, so she says she answers Stacy, not Alyssa. Dear Stacy, there are many children like you. Often when we think we are not going to like people, we do enjoy them when we know them better. Perhaps there are interesting girls and boys among those you call brats. Try to get to know them. You may be surprised. Here's Yeah, I said I would read. If you can't find children to play with, get books from the library. Any reading you do now will help you later. We're sure that you will think, we're sure, oh, I thought there was a comment. We're sure that you will think of many things to do when you really try. Okay, I don't think that was you weren't at your best there, Amy. Maybe you were just a little bit, whatever, tired or something. You were not at your best there, Amy. But who am I to criticize? Because you are doing a superb job. And I don't want to be like a bitch criticizing you, Amy, any longer. You do a superb job. I want my little chalkboard in there too. And let's watch the magic of this fire. Look, even the paper doesn't start on fire. Even the paper just smolders there. How does that happen? Just smolder. No fire. So, I think kids have a real good intuitive sense about a lot of things. A lot of things. I think that's when they are able to, if they are able to connect with people who are dead. I think it happens when you're kids. I think it's the innocent that really can connect to concepts that we as adults simply are not open to. So, it's like I said, kids know when there's mean people, and kids know when there's bad parents, and kids know that there's something wrong if they are the only people in their class living with their grandparent. People know, kids know, right? So to act like kids don't know, what that does is it doesn't allow them to trust that intuition. And we need to trust that intuition. We don't even... In science, they don't even like to use the word. And this is the word I use when they don't like to use the word intuition. F-U. 2 words. One's a letter. And that expression. We're reading more about that in our book. Woo, later on. So, I think that when you think people are brats, they probably are brats. I think trying to play with people you think are brats or make them your friend makes you look desperate for friends, and you don't want those kind of friends anyway. And even if they, you could tell if they are for you too, right? If they are friends for you. So even though maybe, let's say they're not really brats, so you want to try, you're thinking maybe I will give them a shot. Which is a good idea, right? But they may not be the friend for you either. And I also believe that your intuition can tell you that as well. Okay? So I do trust young kids' intuition. And it doesn't matter how young do you trust. Do you trust a 5-year-old? I do. Do you trust a 3-year-old? Absolutely. Do you trust a 2-year-old? Absolutely. Look at separation anxiety and stranger anxiety. All happens at a certain age. It's all hardwired. For Pete's sake, seriously, you're going to sit over there. There we go. Not even start on fire. Smolder like your damp paper. So, now we're just about burning anything. Okay, so I say don't make too much of an effort to play with brats. If you don't want to play with them, don't play with them. I remember being a little girl, and I remember when I was playing by myself outside at recess, and I was a very little girl. I was in kindergarten or first grade, one of the two. And they said, we're going to go by Pam and we're going to point and laugh at her. And I said, no, I'm not going to. And they're like, you have to come with us. I'm like, no, that's mean. I'm not coming with you. And then they said something like, if you don't do it, we're going to do it to you. We're going to have everybody do it to you. Well, I didn't like that idea. So I went, I've told you the story before. So I went and I was the last one in it and I didn't point. I just put my finger down like this and I walked by and I didn't do anything. And they said, you have to point. And I went, you have to point. And so I went like this, whatever. I did a little something. And then I went and I was the last one in the line, halfway, whatever. Through, I went back to Pam and I said, I'm sorry. She didn't forgive me, which is her prerogative. She didn't have to forgive me. But I was the couple things. So first of all, I knew those kids were brats. I knew those kids were wrong. I knew those kids wanted me to do something mean. And I didn't, and I was playing by myself. And I remember even as a little kid, I had a big mouth. So when I said, no, that's mean, I said it loud, like a bratty kid, like I was the brat, which you might have thought I was a brat, and that would have been perfectly fine if you thought I was a brat as well. No, I don't want to do that. And I played a lot by myself, but I also am pretty sure I played a lot by myself as an infant child. So I think that helped me a lot learn how to play by myself. It is a wonderful, wonderful gift, especially in this day and age, to learn how to play by yourself. And when I mean by yourself, I mean with no phone. I mean with nothing. Like we used to play by ourselves. Like we had to lay on a couch and think of something to do with ourselves. We could have used our imagination, but there were times where you'd lay on the couch and think of what to do with yourself. All right? Being alone and learning at a very young age how to think of what to do with yourself, I think is just a great, great skill. So there is only one girl in our street my age. She is always on vacation. So when she's not home, I have nobody to play with. All the other kids on my street are brats. Can you help me? I don't think that you need to be making friends with brats. I think you probably have a good idea. They're not for you. Those are people not for you. And you don't need to make friends with brats. That's my feeling. But you do need to learn how to play by yourself. And I mean really by yourself, right? Really by yourself. Go and start by going and playing outside. Go and play outside. Now, boys naturally have an inclination in general to play outside, and that means sports. So my boys were always outside because we had a basketball hoop, and that's all they needed. There were other things that we had. Trampoline eventually for my younger son was the thing. But something outside for them that occupied, it wasn't like, now what do we do? No, they were still doing the basketball. And then hours later, it wasn't like, now what do we do? No, they were still playing basketball, right? So that was easy peasy for the boys. What could you do as a girl, Stacy, that could keep your interest outside? Now, for me, I have to have warm weather. I cannot be outside when it's cool. But I was just outside. It's a little warmer because the sun was out. So I was just outside, and I went and I was tending to my tomato plants. All right. That's what I enjoy doing, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. Now, I also have to garden, which means I've got some weeding to do, right? I've got some weeding to do on my landscaping because that's not the garden. So landscaping I have to do, and well, that's on fire, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get something going. We'll try. I got to go out there and pick up some more wood and see if I can't. I don't even know. Do a deep dive on the wood and see where that dry wood is. All I've got is like a bunch of trees that are now just breaking off and turning into like, I thought I would have a piece here, like sponge-like material. It's like sponge. And it's like a damp sponge besides, so it doesn't even burn. So, trust your instincts on brats. Learn how to play by yourself. I'm going to do one more from friends. And then we've got one more to do besides that. Dear Highlights Magazine. Hi, I'm 10 years old. My friend has a problem with me. You see, everything I like, she doesn't like. She doesn't like the clothes I like or the music I like. I mean, it's like she doesn't like anything in my whole life. She even gets in fights with me because of the people I like or the things. Can you please help me? I'm going out of my mind. She said I going out. Fatima, 1999. Okay, I gotta get this heater a little closer. I know, I had my back showing while I was doing that planting, and it was just my back, it wasn't my crack. But I'm sure you guys drew a nice line on it to make it look like it was my crack. Anything to degrade her. She's talking about white men, real nasty like. White men, just look around. What have you done? Nobody's talked nasty enough about you. True that. Dear Fatima, you could try talking privately to your friend about this. Choose a time when you are getting along well with each other. You might say, I like having you as a friend, but sometimes I become frustrated. You don't seem to like anything or anyone I like. I respect your interest and choices. I understand that a person may like different things and have different friends than I would choose. If everyone liked the same people and things, the world would be very boring. The next time we have a difference of opinion about music or anything else, why don't you just change the subject? We can just decide that we have different ideas about the subject and that neither of us is going to change our minds. Listen carefully to what your friend has to say. If your friend still attempts to argue with you, you might say, I'm going to leave now because you're going to get into a fight about this. That's not good for our friendship. Maybe we'll both be in a better mood another day. Then just leave and go near other friends or go home. You might also consider spending more time with other people and developing new friendships. It wouldn't mean that you care any less for this friend. Each friend you make has something special to offer you in friendship, and you can never have too many friends. I think that's good advice, but the thing I think that Amy is missing here is that this person is not a friend. And that's why you don't get along with this person. There are a lot of times where you're going to meet people who are friendly and then all they do is criticize you. That's somebody who doesn't know how to be a friend, and so that person can't be a friend. Okay? So the idea of trying to find other people that you like and making friends with other people, that's really the best idea. I mean, when you think about it, Fatima, how much do you like this person? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all, and 10 being you like that person and you never want that person to be, out of your sight, best friends, your besties, and you'll think you'll be besties forever, okay? That's a 10. How much do you like this person on a scale of 1 to 10? And then that should tell you something about how much you really need to invest. Now, if you really like this person, which is really possible that you really, really do like this person and they just pick arguments with you, right? It's possible that you really like this person and they just pick arguments with you. So you would be like, it's just like they're a 9, and if they wouldn't pick arguments, they would be a 10. Maybe that's what it is with you. Okay, well, then it is a good idea to try and talk to that person and say, it bothers me that you do this, right? That's some really good advice to try and talk to your friend. If that person scores high on likability for you, you like that person high on that scale of 1 to 10. But if you don't, I would be spending less and less and less time, and then, spending more and more and more and more time with other people and making other friends. If you're to think about a marriage, what if you had a marriage with somebody that criticized you and didn't like anything that you did? What if that was your husband or your wife that criticized you? Do you think that would make a long-lasting marriage? Of course not. And guess what else? It doesn't make a long-lasting friendship either. Okay. I love what we're doing here. I said I was going to do one more thing, and that's what we're going to end up with another one from the magazine. This one is from a Get Creative magazine. Rainbow pasta art. I don't happen to care for pasta art. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Pasta art? Yuck. Just draw. Yuck. You're gluing food. But okay, if that's what you do, that's what you do. Dear highlights, my mom is always on her phone. I want to spend more time with her. Okay, we've read something like that before, right? And I really think that the quality of your questions are really getting. How about we express ourselves a little bit more? How does that make you feel? Why do you want your mom off the phone? When I look at photos from when I was younger, I miss those times. What should I do? That's a good question. I really like that question a lot. Okay. So we're going to answer that one. It's fine to look back and enjoy memories, but if that makes you sad, try thinking about them a little differently. Instead of seeing those times as something you're missing, see them as something you'll always carry with you. They help make you who you are and are part of your life's story. Focus on feeling thankful that you enjoyed those fun times. Then think of things you're grateful for now, and remember, all kinds of great experiences are yet to happen. Resolve to make good memories every day, and maybe even take new pictures every day. That gives you something to look at, and you're not usually sad about the new memories or new pictures you're taking. Those are exciting for you. So take new pictures is what I would say. Not just make new memories, but since you're looking at pictures, I would take new pictures for new memories. Those shouldn't make you feel sad. All right? You say, I miss those times. What should I do? So that's different. That's a little different. It's fine to look back on and enjoy your memories, but if it makes you sad. Now, she used the word sad. Amy used the word sad there, and you did not. You said you miss those times. And I think that makes that answer to that question just a little bit different. If you're sad when you look at those, then you probably wouldn't want to look at them, and you'd want to make new memories and look at the future and those kinds of things, right? If you look at them and you miss those times with your brother or your sister or your mom or your family, that actually is being thankful and grateful. So we should just try and look for things that you can be grateful about. When I go and look at the pictures, which are it is hard for me because it makes me weep for all those memories, but I'm not weeping in sadness. I'm weeping in the same thing you weep about, or it's missing. It's just missing. Pictures make you miss things, and that's because you're so grateful for those times. I don't spend a lot of time looking at pictures for that reason. I don't want to cry about something, even if I'm crying because I was so grateful for it, right? It's hard for me to look at pictures when my boys are young, but I do have them out all over the house, right there, right there, right. I thought I had my son's over here. I wonder where that went. I took it down, but I don't know where I put it. Anyway, so I have their pictures all over, and those pictures don't make me sad. But when I start going through the photographs of Halloween, and I do have a big poster downstairs that is visible to me of copies I took and pasted up for my son for his 8th grade graduation. And if I look at those, you can see why they would make me, we call it nostalgic, having that sort of soft heart for the past. It's a really good thing, but I don't like feeling that way all the time because it makes my heart soft and it makes me cry. So, and why? Because I'm so grateful for that time of the boys. They're all the pictures for my older son's 8th grade graduation with his brother. I could almost find no pictures of him without his brother, right? Because it was only 3.5 years, and then every picture, why would I take them separately except for school pictures? I always took them together. So there they are, playing in the bathtub, playing in the pool, playing in the, well, I don't know why I picked the bathtub first. Because I remember seeing them, but it was the pool. Playing out on the deck, playing in the water. And when I see those, it makes me so grateful for those times that we had, that I saw those things, that I saw my boys building an everlasting relationship together. When I saw how much my boys enjoyed one another and loved one another, that would make my heart so soft, right? And it would make me weep for something that I was so grateful for. So I don't like to do it a lot either, because I miss, it makes me feel like it's not that I miss it, it's that it makes my heart so soft for them, for that time. Okay, this has been Dear Highlights day number 6. Thank you so much for joining me. We may go on to the next. I don't know. I'll take a peek and see, but I do like picking a few random ones from these magazines as well, right? From the Highlights magazines as well, since I got a few of these from the Commerce Township Library. I was so happy about that. So, Dr. Annette Feravich, I'm the teacher. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Healthy Mind, Body, Spirit classroom. I will see you on Tuesday. We'll be back with more Dear Highlights, because I like it. I'm having fun.